All right, so Ryan Garcia, King Ryan Garcia, should I say, put on one hell of a performance on Saturday night. And of course, now he's got a ton of options, okay? One of those guys is Sugar Sean O'Malley, the bantamweight champion of the world. That is a fight that's being talked about. And Ryan Garcia has said, listen, cack ahead. Prepare to bleed, Rainbow. So before we get into all of that stuff, let's just talk about Ryan Garcia, right? Leading up to that fight at the weekend, he had everybody fooled. He had me fooled. I thought this man needs sectioning. This man needs to see a doctor. This man is having a mental health breakdown. He's having a nervous breakdown because that's what it looked like. It looked like he was losing his mind, okay? Talking all of this madness online, coming out with crazy tweets and just in all of his interviews looking a little unhinged.
NGQ, doing what I do. All white, looking nice. Okay, come through.
I don't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not.
Saying that he was kidnapped and stuff like that. I'm like, this poor guy needs help. Was he trolling? It looks like he was trolling the entire time. Now, first of all, he missed weight, okay? He came in 3.2 pounds heavier. And he even bet Devin Haney the day before that if he misses weight, he'll pay him $500,000 for every pound that he misses weight. And he did. He lived up to the bet. He gave Devin Haney $1.5 million, allegedly. And then he got fined $600,000 off the commission. So before the fight even started, he was $2.1 million down, okay? And on top of that, to make it worse, he couldn't become the champion, even if he beat Devin Haney, which of course we know that he did. He went out there, apparently after drinking and smoking every single day throughout training camp.
You guys smell like alcohol and cigarettes.
Went out there, put on a phenomenal performance. He just outclassed Devin Haney. Haney looked far too slow. The left hook from Ryan Garcia, that was the money shot. Sat him down on several occasions. Too fast, too quick, too slick. Simple as that. Goes out there, gets the job done. Beats Devin Haney in a massive upset, but doesn't become champion of the world. And there's a video out there. Devin Haney is kind of celebrating, saying, well, at least he still ain't the champion. That's crazy. I don't know how that feels to be a champion of the world, to lose a fight, but still have the belt. I guess it's kind of a moral victory in some ways because he is still the champion and he'll get a shot at redemption because you got to think that Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney 2, or should I say 8, is going to go down. They boxed 6 times as amateurs. They went 3-3 against each other. Garcia wins the first pro fight, but he misses weight. You got to think they're going to do that again. However, Garcia says that he's too big, so he's going to move up a weight class.
Nah, no rematch.
So after the fight, Ryan Garcia is a winner for multiple reasons. Not only did he win the fight, he won the bet. And by the bet, apparently he bet on himself $2 million to be the winner. Now, if you're a professional combat sports fighter, you can't bet on yourself to lose, okay? Because, listen, you can ensure that that bet comes true. You can ensure that you're going to win. But of course you can bet on yourself to win. Of course you can. And the bookies will say, well, we don't think you're going to win. So therefore, we'll take your money. But if you prove us wrong, we'll give you X amount. Apparently, Ryan Garcia bet $2 million on himself and took home a win of $12 million. So he's not bothered about giving Devin Haney his 1.5. But I'll tell you what, that speaks volumes about Ryan Garcia. It really does, right? To be smoking and drinking all training camp, right? To go out there to put on that kind of performance, to be trolling and pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, and then to give Devin Haney $1.5 million being a man of his word. Because the reality is, there's no contractual obligation. They don't sign something, right? You can say to Devin Haney, oh, shut up, that was heat at the moment. I'm not going to pay you. We've seen it happen before. I think KSI still owes John Fury $500,000. And no man alive should owe John Fury $500,000. Anyway, so back to Ryan Garcia. Sorry, guys. Obviously, he says that he's going to move up a weight class. And for some reason, he's got his sights set firmly on Sugar Sean O'Malley, the bantamweight champion of the world. So, similar weight classes, 135 against 140. So they're in the same ballpark. They're both great strikers. I mean, when you look at them boxing, of course, you're going to say that Ryan Garcia is the better boxer. Of course he is. He just beat Devin Haney, for crying out loud. The man should be a champion. He is the uncrowned king, okay? Although he is the king. So he says, I will make you bleed, Sean O'Malley. Now, Sean O'Malley says he's interested in this fight. He was talking on his podcast to Timbo, and he said, listen, I'm for sure interested in that fight. And the UFC apparently have said to him, that you can box, but only if there was enough money available.
2 more sick performances, then we're talking about being able to do whatever the fuck.
But maybe
they told me you can do a box fight 100% if it makes us enough money.
Got to remember, Sean O'Malley is contracted to the UFC. So for the UFC to get involved, it would have to be a co-promotion. And for them to get involved and to, be worth their time, it would have to be a gigantic matchup like Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. And then also, you got to run the risk of, well, is the promotion, the UFC, going to let Sean O'Malley fight and then potentially lose, which damages his stock as well. So again, it would have to be a monumental event to take that risk.
But Ryan, being a fucking freak like that, you need 2 A-sides to make a fucking Floyd-Conor fight. You know what I mean?
And Sean O'Malley said, listen, I need about 2 more wins, of course, okay? He's going to go out there, he's going to beat somebody like Merab, and then probably someone like Nurmagomedov. And that would be, by my recollection, 3 defenses? Yes. Cheeto, Merab, Umar. Right, so that'll be 3 defenses, okay? And his star, with every single time you fight, every time you defend the belt, just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Also, Sean showed on that podcast that he's still humble and still got his feet on the ground, because somebody on the podcast was like, oh, come on, man. When you fought at UFC 299, that was like one of the biggest gates ever. And he said, yeah, okay, it was. But that wasn't just down to me. That was down to it being an absolutely phenomenal fight card from start to finish, okay? A lot of people saying it was better than UFC 300. And a lot of people were talking shit about that. And Dana White, by the way, if you haven't seen this, put them all right in their place with an epic video.
What's up, guys? As we rolled into UFC 300, the MMA experts weighed in on what they thought of UFC 300. And for all the fighters that were on this card, when I said this is the greatest card ever assembled in the history of combat sports, this is what the media thought of you guys.
UFC 300 makes no sense. Is any fight on this card 300 worthy? No.
This is the most diabolically disappointing UFC 300 announcement ever.
It feels kind of thrown together.
A packed crowd on fire right now. These people are hyped up. The energy tonight has been insane from the opening fight.
This place is already rocking.
You gotta be kidding me! Sensational. Oh, powerbomb! The rally tonight. That is it. Kayla Harrison. Oh, Fury Prohas, the voice.
An entire nation watching.
Because people were talking shit, and I don't know why. But anyway, back to Sugar Sean O'Malley and Ryan Garcia. The reality is, Sean O'Malley is phenomenal on the feet. I know Chito Vera, Marlon Chito Vera, very, very well. Very powerful. Yes, bit of a slow starter. We saw how that fight went down. Sean O'Malley was like poetry in motion. The speed of the shots, the power of the shots, the range management, the footwork, the in and out movement, the chin that he displayed as well is all phenomenal. Can he compete with somebody like Ryan Garcia, though, on the feet, boxing only? Probably not. And that's not an insult to Sean O'Malley. If anybody can do it at that kind of weight class, I would say Sean O'Malley, because O'Malley right now has probably got some of the best boxing that we've seen. Let's remember, just put an absolute clinic on Marlon Chito Vera. Prior to that, knocked out Aljamain Sterling, the greatest bantamweight of all time, with one clean right hand. One of the cleanest shots you'll see in the UFC. Beat Petr Yan. Prior to that fight, people were saying that Petr Yan was one of the best boxers and beautiful footwork, and he beat him. Sure enough, it was a mixed martial arts contest. Remember that knee that he hit him with, I think right in the second round, Petr Yan coming forward, beautifully timed knee. And that's the thing, O'Malley is a mixed martial artist, okay? So if he was to go over to the boxing world, I wish him nothing but success. And I hope for his sake it happens. I, for one, would love to see it. I think a crossover fight, people have the kind of appetite for that. But just like the way Conor McGregor did very well against Floyd Mayweather, I think Sean would show up. I think he'd do himself very, very proud. I think he'd represent the sport of mixed martial arts to the fullest, but I don't think he'd get the job done. But never mind that, because who cares? The man's living a sensational life right now. He's earning a tremendous amount of money, as is Ryan Garcia. What did you think about that? Let me know. Do you think he was trolling? Because I'm telling you now, trolling, I should say. He looked unstable. He looked out of his mind, right? Some of the press conference stuff. I mean, when he walked out to the ceremonial weigh-ins, chugging a beer, gets on the scale 3 pounds heavy. I'll tell you what, listen, you can call it disrespectful, but I'm like, I like this guy. I like this guy because he's just taking the piss and he's not taking it all too seriously. Even before the fight, he had an orchestra in his dressing room. Mike Tyson came to see him and wished him well. And I'm like, yeah, he's a character. He's funny. He's good looking. He's marketable. He talks a fair bit of shit, but the man can back it up, okay? And that's the main thing in combat sports, whether you're Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor, Ryan Garcia, or whatever the name is, right? If you got to talk a ton of shit, you got to be able to back it up. It's these people that just chat shit all day long and make out they're real bad men, but they can't back it up. They won't back it up. They look for the easiest possible fights. And I'm not mentioning any names. Jake Paul, looking for a 58-year-old. But that's about it. Ryan Garcia, congratulations. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about all of this? But more importantly, is Ryan Garcia officially out of his mind, or was he just pulling the wool over all of our eyes? Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.